All right, brother.
So,
Pear Podcast 2. Let's go.
it's not called the Pear Podcast.
What is it called?
The Pear Pod
Or Major Vibes?
or Major Vibes
Because it's all about vibes. And
or what we spoke about 5 minutes ago. We can't really say here.
we can. It's funny, but I don't think it's worth it.
Nah, it's not worth it.
At least not this early in the game.
Yeah. So welcome to the podcast, which has no name, but will have a name within the month, let's say.
Yeah. Doesn't
Cool.
matter as long as we show up here to deliver you the goods.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
I'm really good looking. He's pretty good looking. So
Yeah. I'm wearing the same thing every day. My brother has a new fashion outfit like Lewis Hamilton every week. So what do we got going on here?
I try to keep things
we got
fresh.
some nice stees here.
I don't know.
We're the cream on cream.
I like to keep things light.
You're a beacon of light, my brother.
That's all I know.
All right. So what's been going on in the last 2 weeks? This is our second pod. We took a week off because
Yeah, we're trying to figure out a schedule. Sorry for cutting you off there. Trying to figure out a schedule, a rhythm. Both of us are very lazy and don't want to edit this stuff. So trying to find people who will edit it in the right time. But I think we're figuring out a good podcast flow. So at least we got that going on.
For me, it's not that I'm lazy. I'm willing to put in the work. It's that my technical proficiency
Mhm.
is garbage with editing this stuff and color correcting. So it's just my time is better spent elsewhere.
Fair, yes. And I become lazy when I know that my time can be used doing something that I'm actually good at. Right?
Exactly.
So if I know that I have to tackle something that I have to like learn, yes, then I am ultra lazy. I don't want to learn any more new techniques. I'm 34. I think I've learned enough.
I think you're just
Now I'm going to master everything I've learned.
I think you're just so subconsciously efficient
Yeah,
that your operating system just doesn't want you to do shit you don't need to do. So let's focus on what we actually put our minds to the last few weeks since our last podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
I would say, Dray, you did an excellent job in creating the new look and feel for the updated Pear app that is happening right now as we speak.
Yeah, like none of you really are going to be seeing the current version of Pear because that's the early first version that we just built and designed and created to actually just make our stuff work, the vibe score and all this stuff. But now it's like, okay, let's actually make it look kind of cool and make it look a little fun. And the design process of that for Pear, I'm not a designer by any means, but I'm the only guy to do it right now, me and you. So
yeah,
we come up with the ideas, we do our best. And
it's like you come up with the idea of the look and feel that feels fun. And I kind of make sure it's structurally sound to make sure that the sizes of everything fit the parameters of standard apps.
Exactly. But with Pear, the big thing is that we combine all the wearables, right? So obviously I was looking at all the different apps that go with the wearables. There's a lot of good stuff there, but there's also a lot of stuff that is just overwhelming. It's too much information. It's too many graphs. So it's like, how can we present this information for the masses and make it easily visible with the eye, easily digestible, easily shareable, and because now it's almost too niche, it's too technical. It gives you all the good data, what you want, but when you're just sharing it among friends, you don't need to see all that stuff. So we're just showing the important stuff.
Yeah, what's the minimum required impact information? But I really like how it looks. It looks a lot more fun, and it's funny because I've been telling you, I know you have a bunch of friends on Whoops and Uras that I've wanted you to onboard.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, man, it looks like shit.
Yeah.
I can't have someone come on this because it looks like crap. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's all about like MVP mentality. You know,
MVP is minimum of viable product. 99% of people don't know that.
If they're not in the tech startup space.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is. So
yeah, fair enough.
I'd say most people
fair
aren't.
Enough.
MVP, yeah.
But they always say if you're not embarrassed by your first version, you waited too long to release it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the constant battle that we have between each other because you have a very high level of requirement before bringing people in terms of their experience.
Yeah.
And I'm more on I don't give a shit. I just want people to come on so we can learn.
Yeah, because the way I see it is like, it's like Costco. I think more like Costco. You have one chance to sell your product in Costco. If that product doesn't sell, you'll never even if your company is great and successful, you'll never be able to go to Costco because you tried it that one time and it didn't pan out. People left. So if I have a product that I'm not fully proud of yet, that I'm still developing, I'm not going to get people on, because if their first experience with the product is not good, even when the product is amazing, they're less likely to return. So I'd rather just have them on in a version where I'm proud of. Whereas you don't give a shit. You're just like, let's get as many people on. Let's get them testing it and using it and whatever.
Yeah.
But we always meet in the middle somehow.
We do. And I think that creates a nice balance.
Yeah.
Because while I want to bring people on as early as possible to learn as much as possible, but also the early people I want to bring on are friends and family and people like that who would be a little more accepting of our downfalls. But to make a hard rule of MVP, you know, like you got to do it like this or like that. I think it's got to, if it feels good for us,
they don't need.
Then it's going to feel good. I'm really, really proud of what the next version is going to look like, which will be released this Friday.
It's a real amazing step forward.
And that's kind of the ongoing debate that we have. Because while we're collaborating, Eula was listening to us last week when we were working together on designs and everything. And when you left, she was like,
"Who's Eula?"
It's my wife.
Well, for the fans.
My wife, sweet Yule, Juliana.
Yeah.
Good call. When you left, she said, "How did that go? Okay." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I don't know. It sounded like it was getting pretty heated with you guys." I'm like, "No, that's just how we talk. We're Greek and Italian."
We mostly are yelling at each other.
Yeah. We talk very passionately about everything we do, and we're constantly debating. And I was like, Lennon McCartney, these guys were battling, duking it out all the time, trying to make the thing as great as possible.
Liam and Noel. Hell
yeah. They didn't even talk for they broke up in 2011. It's been 16 years or so.
Blink-182.
My math ain't so great. Blink-182. I'm putting us on the level of Oasis, Lennon and McCartney, obviously.
The Beatles, yes, yeah. We are that caliber.
Because we used to make music.
Yes.
And we used to be in a band.
And it was the same thing.
It was always the same thing. It was always that battle, but I think that's what creates great stuff. And I always say it's kind of cheesy, but the new band is actually building a brand. So you just throw an R in there. So we're creating something. It's not music, but I believe it's art. It's something that, you know, we're envisioning, that we're bringing to life, that people are going to enjoy and use. So to me, it's the same thing. And it's just building a brand. I feel like building a brand is a very exciting thing. And it's similar to building a band. It's based on personalities. It's based on those personalities coming together, battling to create the product that people are going to use and consume and talk about. So yeah, I'm just excited about everything there. And the ongoing debate that we usually have is Dray always wants to level it up. Okay, how can we share this sticker? How can we share it to Instagram? How can we do this? How can we do that? And I'm always like the no guy, not because I don't want it, but it's like, how fast do we want to have the next version so that we can have new people on and then upgrade that? So it's always, it's not me.
I'm always wanting new features for everything. I see things a year or two in advance, but the features that we currently have are we're still in beta mode. We're still working out kinks. We're still trying to get features to work properly. So I always want to do 20 different things. And I'm always thinking about how we can get better, how it can be more interactive. But you're always thinking about, how can we just get this to work?
Yeah,
perfectly for a week straight?
Yeah, how can we get it done? Because I know if I throw 100 new items to our team, there's way more likelihood of 50% of it not working and then having to debug for months and months and then prolonging. So the question is, it's features versus
function.
Not only function, but features versus bringing people in. Like, what minimal new features do we need to bring people in? The more features we add, the longer it takes to fix, the further the line is of when we're going to get people in the door.
Yeah. So I think now we're finally at a good place where we have enough features, enough new pages,
enough functionality
and things working and integrations with different stuff, which we'll talk about soon. Yeah, we have enough of that where it's like, okay, now let's get another 25, 30 people on, because
exactly.
You don't want to like have this thing and then try to go get 1,000 people. It's too many people, and we haven't done enough testing yet. So we got to do it in small batches. So the next batch will be another 15 people in a week or so, and then once all that is good, then we'll try to get another 30, 40 people, then another couple hundred, and then
it's
because we don't want to go too ahead of ourselves.
Like 0 to 100,000, there's a lot of guessing that would have to go in there, and we'd have to predict the future for that to figure that out.
But I also need to figure out how to get 100,000. That's
yeah, but in my head, it's what features do we need to go from 12 to 30?
Oh yeah,
and then what features do we need to go from 30 to 100,
and then 100 to
200, and 200 to 500, and so scaling it like that actually removes a lot of stress, because imagine how much time, money, and development would take to try to build the perfect app that 100,000 people would be using. But if you're going from 12 to 50 to 100, you're seeing what they're using in real time. You can adjust, you can pivot.
And the thing is, it's such a small pool that you can talk directly to these people. Hey, what do you like? What don't you like? What would you want to see? Or what are you doing on this app that bothers you compared to the way it works on a different app? So it's good learning.
Exactly.
We're doing it properly.
And that's the beauty of working together and building it together and doing all that fun stuff. But I'm very excited about the new version because it's literally eons ahead of the last one. And functionality wise, it's working better.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk quickly about the integrations, because our whole thing, like Pear, we're trying to pair all the different health trackers, fitness trackers, sleep trackers, whatever you want to call them. We're trying to pair them. And so far, I have a Whoop. Up to 10 Whoop users, no problem. But we're having a really hard time connecting more users. And we have a lot of friends and people in our network who are with Whoop. So Whoop, if you're watching this, I'm going to tag you. We've been trying to contact you. We need more, what do you call them? Permission?
API usage. Like our users is limited to 10. We have to be approved. We submitted like 2 months ago.
Yeah, come on, Whoop, help us. We like your product the most.
Yeah, like we are like
I only wear the Whoop.
We are Whoop salesmen.
I don't have to get an Oura. Honestly, I don't want to wear a Ring, and I don't want a Fitbit, and I don't want a Garmin. So yeah.
Yeah, because
if you hear this, please call me.
Because Apple is unlimited usage we have.
Yeah.
Garmin, we are approved for unlimited. Oura, we're unlimited.
Yeah. So
and so many people now, because of Pear, they're asking, oh, what device should I get?
Mm-hmm.
What wearable should I? Like the integration with Whoop is seamless. It's beautiful. But since we're currently limited to 10, we have to literally tell people you can't use it if you have a Whoop.
Yeah, and we're
maxed out.
And it's funny because like Whoop users are very they're like the core users that we want to bring onto Pear quickly, because they're actually a very big community, and it's the community that I've been a part of. So having them, like at first it was like we were only wanting Whoop and Oura because those were like the two really like popular niche.
It was the targeted people that we wanted to unite.
Target people. But yeah, now we got Apple. We're doing all the integrations because everyone has different devices for a different reason. So Whoop, if you hear this,
we love you.
Call me.
We love what you did with the steps. We love that.
Yeah. We'll talk about that actually. Let's segue into the next topic that we never wrote down because we didn't write many topics. I use Whoop. Whoop recently updated their app, and not that I ever cared for the steps, but I know a lot of people, mainly women, is what I'm seeing online, complaining that Whoop doesn't have the step counter. So finally, after a couple of years, Will Ahmed, the CEO of Whoop, founder, finally introduced steps, and he made fun of himself reading mean tweets about why his device was so intricate but did not have steps. So that was kind of fun, and I'm glad Whoop has that because it's a good feature.
I'm super happy about it, and I get why Will and the whole Whoop team were against steps, because steps is kind of a
vanity metric.
It's kind of a vanity metric. There's no sure like it's like the 8 glasses of water. Someone said it. And is there really backing behind it? But I think what it does do is provide a really good insight. Like my average since the release, like 7-8 days ago, has been like 5,000 steps a day. And that's shit. So just being able to see that I'm sitting on my computer too long is beneficial.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell that more steps is worse than less steps.
Exactly. And what I noticed is whether it is beneficial, because you could do 20,000 steps, but if your steps are like real turtle steps, I don't know how much that's going to do for you. It's not going to get your heart rate up. It's going to maybe help your limbs.
It's better than zero.
But it's better than zero. But the steps keeps people accountable, like mom. If mom doesn't hit her 10,000 steps, if it's 9 p.m. and she's going to bed, she's going to do laps around her house.
Yeah, she's got her Oura, and her Oura's always telling her.
Until she hits her steps. So I think it's just a good metric to keep you hitting your own kind of goal. Like, I don't care about steps, but when I was living in Miami during COVID, I don't know, I was bored all the time. So my goal was hit 30,000 steps a day.
You were the leanest kid in Miami.
I was so lean because I was eating super clean, and I was just walking, and I was doing 30,000 steps a day in the sand most of it.
And that humidity.
Yeah, it was a good time. But anyway,
but yeah, steps are amazing.
Whoop finally had the steps. They upgraded their app a little bit. I know a few friends that were really pumped up to show me their new Oura app. Oura, I don't know what they did exactly, but
the UI is much nicer.
The UI is definitely better than what I had seen previously. So
Eula, my wife, very pumped. She has an Oura and a Whoop. She's one of the
and an 8 Sleep
mattress. Shout out 8 Sleep mattress. We haven't integrated that yet, but we will. That's even more niche, I believe. But in the conscious hotels, we're gonna have to integrate that.
Yes.
But yeah, big props on Whoop because we love Whoop. Mm-hmm. To bring it back to Whoop, we love Whoop. We love what they've done to pave the way for all this stuff. But at the end of the day, not everybody in the world has a Whoop. There are a lot of dudes with Whoops. There's a lot of girls with Ouras. Pear is a place to bring them together.
Mm-hmm.
Like our mom, she's got an Oura. She didn't want a Whoop. She didn't want to wear a wristband. She wants to have her little watch and whatever it is. Different strokes for different folks. But the fact that we can see each other in the same groups, there are couples. There's a couple I met at the coffee shop I go to all the time. And the guy had a Whoop. And I go up to people with Whoops and I just tell them about my company.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy. Yeah. I was never that guy, but now I have a reason to.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up to him and I was like, hey, how was your recovery today? And it just opens up a conversation. And then I segue into Pear. And he's like, oh, that's amazing. This is my girlfriend right here. And she has an Oura. We would download this right now. Where can we download it? And I'm like, can't download it yet because we have a Whoop user limitation currently at this time on October 15th, 2024. But I'm sure Will Ahmed is going to see this and he's going to be like, boys, let's go. So we're manifesting this. That's what it's all about. It's all about the vibe.
Yeah.
So let's talk about
a little word for our sponsor, Smart Water. I'm kidding. They're not a sponsor and it doesn't make me smart. So I don't know why I'm drinking it. But anyway, there's that.
There is that. So
that's not Smart Water.
No, this is Sam's Purified.
Okay.
Our true sponsor of the day.
Yeah, Sam's Purified.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So, vibe score of the day. How did you do today, my brother?
I don't even know. Let's check.
Let's check it out.
Let's check. Normally it's the first thing I check, but I was kind of rushed this morning. Okay. 81. So I'm below average, so it's a blue day for me.
Okay, please explain that.
So
blue versus purple.
Yeah, I mean, in most things, green is good, yellow is medium, red is bad. We wanted to do something different. Instead of saying you had a good day, you had a bad day, why don't we just go
above average?
Yeah, why don't we talk about averages? So today, I'm below average.
Below your average or below my average?
I'm below my average.
Great.
So it goes based off of your own stuff. So my average vibe score is 85. Today, I'm at 81. Still a decent one, but I am lower than my norm. I know why I'm lower than my norm.
Tell us.
My sleep wasn't that long. It was only 6.5 hours. Restorative was about half, which is not a problem.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fine. My HRV was higher. My HRV was lower and my resting heart rate was higher.
No, your resting heart rate was on average 61.
But it's not a good average. I need my resting heart rate to be in the 50s.
Sure.
Not in the 60s. So even though it's my average, I'm not happy with it. But I did eat like I don't know, 15 little chocolate cubes last night.
What kind of chocolate cubes?
I don't know. I got them at Whole Foods. So I tell myself in my head, if I got it at Whole Foods and it's like organic and no GMOs, that I don't have to feel bad. So I can just eat as many as I want.
Yeah, but fats and carbs,
Look, man.
Okay, I got you.
If it's organic, it's better than not. Or if I got it at Whole Foods, it's better than getting it at Target.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I told myself, though I was eating them uncontrollably. They weren't even good. They tasted real dusty. But
the hate eating is hilarious. And when it's not even that, it's mid. But
because I had like a small meal at 4 p.m. Then I had another very small meal at like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And then 7:30 came, and I was watching TV as one does at 7:30. And I should have been walking the dog, but instead I was on my couch watching TV, eating chocolate like a loser.
Well,
but it was organic chocolate, so we're okay.
It was a mentally taxing day yesterday. Yeah. Would you agree? Like, you didn't complain because we were like 5 hours together.
Oh no, I wasn't mentally taxed.
No,
you were, because we were working last night. I like making faces at the camera.
Sure, yeah, go
because
for it.
I want people to like pause that, like when they see it. I want them to like send me like Andy's weird faces.
In the YouTube, it'll go up, when it shows
most replayed.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like a taxing day for me. We were just working side by side, trying to get this stuff to our developer, and then you stayed longer. So I was gonna feed you dinner because I had made a huge roast beef the other day. So I was gonna reheat that and then give it to you. And then
it smells so fucking good.
Yeah, and then your wife, your lady, called, and you turned white and panicked, and you said, "I gotta go." So what do you mean you gotta go? I'm just getting started here. And turns out she was cutting something in the kitchen.
Some hard ass bread.
All right, if you want to go baguette there, she was trying to cut a 3-day-old baguette that was as hard as this wooden table. So as soon as she went to cut, she slipped and cut her whole finger almost off. So the day was taxing for you. I was pretty chill.
Okay. Well, no, I was sensing a little agitation as we were 4 or 5 hours in. Lando was bothering you. He was getting restless.
Oh, yeah. My dog was getting restless. Look, regardless, if I'm doing the same thing for more than an hour, I'm going to start losing my mind. So the fact that we got 4 hours out of me is almost insane.
It was great stuff. We had to get all the files over to Carson so that he could make it happen.
You were doing most of the work. I was just saying, this is nice or this is ugly.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And so yeah, Eula is okay though. She got stitches this morning. I tried to crazy glue her. Look, she didn't know that I put crazy glue on her last night.
I saw you do it.
But
I didn't tell her.
But it was shit. I didn't put enough to actually hold. She woke up, wasn't feeling so hot about it.
So anyway, yesterday after a whole full day of like working, this, that, meeting in the morning, then you go home, you have to cut up and glue your lady, and then you woke up this morning.
Well, and then after she was repaired, I continued for the next 3 hours to finish the files.
Yes.
But it's okay. I love doing this. It's like,
what else are you going to do?
It's my passion. No, the other options are not good options.
No, they're on your computer, but different stuff.
Different stuff,
different strokes for different folks.
Hell yeah. 10 days clean, my brother.
Oh! 10 hours clean.
Oh!
10 hours clean.
And that's the...
No. 8.
Yeah. And the funny candies too, 10 days.
The funny candies.
Yeah, 10 days clean. Okay, so let's segue into my score of the day.
Okay. So wait, my score was 81 and my average is 85. So I'm a below average day, but I'm feeling pretty good.
So how do you feel?
I feel it right.
Compared like score wise.
Yeah, right around my vibe score. I'd say I feel pretty good. It took me a little longer to wake up this morning. So immediately when I woke up, I did not feel like my vibe score. I felt lower than my vibe score, but that's strictly because I ate so much sugar from that organic Whole Foods chocolate that I was having a hard time staying asleep last night. So it's like 2:30 in the morning and I just raw dogged 40 milligrams of melatonin.
Oh yeah.
and
you dry ripped it?
Yeah, dry ripped some melatonin and a lot of CBD and hope for the best. So I woke up a little.
Yeah, you had to kickstart that engine.
Yeah, I had to inject coffee right into my vein, but we're good. We're here.
Yeah. All right.
we're here. We're working.
All right, man. Time for my vibe score. We got your story.
Sorry.
So 86 today.
Nice.
My average is 87.
So you're below average.
So I'm below average. I feel that. I feel a little more tired. One thing we need to factor into our vibe score is time awake during the night. I was up for over an hour and a half last night, around 3:30 a.m. And I took a ZQuil to help me go back to sleep. Normally it's 2 pills. A ZQuil is
it's like NyQuil.
It's NyQuil without the medication in it. It just has the sleepy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Normally a serving is 2. I took 1, but 4 hours later when I woke up, I was feeling heavy in the brain.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So yeah, we're going to factor that in. Awake time if it's beyond that 45 minutes, which is kind of average.
And if you're using Pear, or you will be using Pear at some point
Of course
soon,
you will.
like this is everything is new, so we're constantly tweaking our vibe algorithm. We're tweaking everything constantly because this is just technology, and this is how it is. The more users we get, the more data we get, the more we can adjust and make everything better. Like
Totally.
I'm seeing way too many people getting 99 vibes. To me, if I see a 99 every day, even if it's not from the same person, it means I think maybe we're being a bit too nice.
Yeah, but it's hard to get that. When's the last time you got a 99?
It's been a long time, but we favor the 8 hours of sleep. I don't ever get 8 hours of sleep.
Well, yeah. So yeah, full points, 8 hours of sleep, 330 restorative, and you have to be 20% better than your HRV and your heart stats.
Scotty is often way up there. He sleeps a lot. He gets good hours of sleep. I did notice Scotty has 2 kids. One is like 4 or 5. The other one is a newborn.
Yeah.
Plus you got a job. So I would assume like if you're working all day and at night and throughout the day, you're tending to your kids, that at the end of the day, you're probably exhausted. New dad, new this,
That's
new
a good call.
Like I feel like you're so exhausted, like you're so drained because on top of doing your main life task, you have now 2 young.
You have dependents.
Yeah, you have like kids that like if you don't pay attention to them, they will die literally, right?
Yeah. Or
even if you have your wife helping you, like it's still taxing. Like the kid is sick, you're stressed. Your wife is not feeling good, you're stressed. So
when Scotty hits the hay, he's out.
For sure, yeah.
So or the other hand is that he's a totally negligent guy and makes Ange, Scotty's wife, our cousin, do all the work. So we're going to see what her scores look like because she's on an Apple Watch. We just got our Apple integration.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how she's doing.
Yeah, because if Scotty's always in the high 90s, but his wife
is in the 40s.
He's in the 30s and 40s and 50s.
Come on, Scott,
we're going to have a word with Scott and other fathers like him. Like if imagine we start seeing a correlation of like new dads versus new moms, and the new moms are vibe in the trash and the dads are vibe amazing. And then you kind of ask them, how much does he help? How much does he not help? And we could start correlating that.
Well, Trin is actually seeing that. Trin and his wife, Kat, when he was a few days in a row in the purple above his average, and Kat, who's also on Pear, was in the 60s or 70s, I saw him comment on her score and said, okay, I'll do the night shift with Levi tonight.
Okay.
So he had taken a few night shifts off. So he's Night Shits. That sounds like a great band name.
The Night Shits.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
So that's interesting. And it's really interesting to me how the couple functionality is going to work out because it'll illuminate stuff for sure. Like if you have young kids, who's doing the night shifts, who's not. Also, we want to take into account for couples the menstrual cycle because Apple Health and Whoop and Oura, they all take that into account.
Yeah.
So Eula has taught me there are 4 phases in the month, and they affect sleep and HRV and overall stuff very differently. So if in your couple group you can see how your partner is doing in that domain, then it could save you from maybe a lot of painful situations.
I was explaining that to a friend the other day, a female friend, and I was saying how we're going to help with Pear for couples telling, the guy, hey, your wife or your girlfriend is in this part of her cycle.
She's in late luteal.
Maybe you should not be a pain in her ass or whatever. I don't know. I haven't had a girlfriend in a while, so I don't know any of this stuff. But she said that would be an amazing feature because it would literally, I wouldn't have to tell him in a very angry way
exactly
what to do or how I'm feeling. Because
for the 4 phases.
Because if you can get the notification from you guys, that would be amazing. Like, hey, maybe don't talk to your wife for the next 6 hours.
Yeah, or be a little extra helpful, or don't be an idiot, or she's good for date night, stuff like that. So I think just bringing that level of awareness to partners is amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff. So I'll go back to my score really quickly. I had 343 restorative, which was 52% of my sleep. That's great. Maybe too much information, but since I'm 10 days off the funny candies, my sleep, every time I take a break or I quit, whatever, my sleep is affected. I wake up in the middle of the night. And then after about 10 days to 2 weeks, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been doing to help this is taking like sleep aids like melatonin or ZQL. And it's my HRV is consistently about like 15% lower than usual. My
when
HRV,
you're taking those other stuff, you're sleeping better, but your metrics and your vitals don't.
Yeah. So my sharp. HRV, my stress tolerance metric is a little lower. It's been 75 literally every single day. My average is 81, which means I'm often above average.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only difference. But if it's helping me sleep, then and I'm getting my sleep, because waking up without good sleep just sucks. It sucks. There's no reason to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. But
I see a lot of people, man. I guess they just don't live the way we do. Not saying what the way we live is good or bad. It's just different. Like people who we don't have a 9 to 5. We work more than that. Like we work when we want to work, but we don't. We
can't turn off.
We're not tied to a 9 to 5. And what was I gonna say? I forgot.
You were talking about other people, like how perhaps people who have a 9 to 5, but they don't follow their sleep too well. I don't know.
Yeah, because I see like a lot of people that 9 to 5 job, then from after work, like 5 to 9 after their 9 to 5, they're constantly out. They're either going for drinks or dinner, or even if it's a fitness related thing. But when you wake up at like 7 a.m., you're out all day doing a job. Then you're out all night with people, half the time probably drinking and whatever, or eating some crap. Then you get home and then you're watching your show, and then you're going to sleep at 1, 2, you're waking up at 6 to go to back to your job. You're always in that loop. The only time a lot of these people are sleeping the right amount of hours are on the weekends, but the only reason they're sleeping the right amount of hours is because they got drunk or high the night before. So they're getting sleep, but they're not getting quality sleep. And I noticed when you start eating a little bit better, drinking a little bit less, taking your sleep,
Seriously?
like prioritizing your sleep, man, every day you feel so much better. Like I feel so good most mornings, like so good.
Yeah, totally.
And
even
you really back
know.
in the day, like years ago, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whenever I stopped drinking, like my first time I stopped drinking, I didn't actually stop drinking. I stopped drinking on the weekends because it was when we started making a little bit of money. We were working, whatever, and I was buying some cars because that's what I love to do. But I was getting so drunk on the weekends that I couldn't enjoy my cars. I mean, I was getting drunk, on the weekends, that in the morning I was so hungover, I couldn't enjoy my cars. I couldn't go for drives. So the first time I stopped drinking was so that I can wake up early on weekends and enjoy my cars. And then I just started doing that every day.
Yeah. And
now it's been like
phase.
3 years. I don't think even one sip, not saying drinking is bad or good or whatever. I just
but I remember that era because I'd have like the Rose Bros over on the weekend. I'd be like, yo, Dray, come over.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, man, I'm staying in. I want to go for a nice cruise in the morning. And I'm like, all right, man, respect.
Go blackout, get drunk on a Tuesday back in the day, no problem. Because all I had to do Wednesday was be at my office. I could do that drunk.
Yeah.
But driving in the morning on the weekend up north in the mountains, no, man, I need to be sharp.
Drive with Dray, hashtag.
Drive with Dray. That people call me Dray. My name's Andy, but people call me Dray. But anyway.
The whole idea with Pear is that if it can be a very simple entry point to just becoming a little bit more self-aware about how your routine affects your life and your reality and your stats and your vibe and all that stuff.
Vibe,
then that's all we want to do. We're not here to say don't drink, don't party, don't have fun, don't live your life. You know, I went out to a concert Saturday night. I had funnel cake, sat on the grass, listened to loud music, had lasers in my eyes, no red blocking glasses, but it was a beautiful event. You know, it was super nice. So it's not about not living your life. It's just if you're perpetually fucking yourself
and never resting,
first of all, your body gets used to that. So you think that's standard. And as soon as it's like a veil was lifted from me, and I know for you, once we started to live a lifestyle that was cleaner, you're able to have more faith in yourself, your abilities, your dreams, how far you want to go, what you want to do in life. And it's less material based and it's more creation based.
It's funny, when I stopped drinking, after a while, like I stopped caring what other people thought. I didn't know I did care about what other people thought.
Because everyone says, I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, but when I stopped drinking, like after a while, I stopped buying like expensive stuff. I stopped going out to these like clubs and bars and like even hockey games. Like everything that doesn't matter when you stop drinking, and not just for a week or a month, like when it's just out of your whole life and your system, the way you think is different, the way you feel is different, and everything you do is to feel better, not to look better.
Well,
right? Or like
if you don't feel good, you want to look good.
Exactly.
Right? And when you're perpetually inflamed, to bring in some bro science, because I'm not a scientist, but I'm into it. If you're perpetually inflamed, your system is in a constant state of like underlying fear. Mm-hmm. You're in fight or flight constantly. So you're constantly don't feel good enough. You constantly feel like you need to have more possessions to appear better, to appear more than you are. But once you actually feel good, you realize, fuck, I don't need anything.
Yeah.
All I need is to feel good, have a nice, clean white t-shirt, and, go create a life that I want to create rather than simulate a life that I want to create.
Yeah. I want to talk about something else because in your notes earlier, you said, talk about a couple of new movies that came out. And even though this is more about like lifestyle, wellness, health, a little bit about our business and us, I love movies. He loves movies. We grew up going to the movies all the time, almost weekly with our dad. And I almost go to the movie theater, even still, every week. I'll go every week if there's movies to see every week. So besides for a couple new movies that came out, I want to talk about vibe and movies because this weekend I did something I don't normally do, which is I watched horror movies at home. Okay. I love horror movies. I have since I'm a little kid and I love to watch them. I just don't like bringing bad vibes into my own house. So like if I'm watching something, there's like some really bad demons or possessions or like ghosts and stuff, or just like bad, terrible people, dark people. I don't want that energy in my house. So I opt out of that. I'll go see it at the movies, but I will not bring it home. Though now it's Halloween and I've been wanting to watch a couple more thrillers, horror movies. So I've been watching, like at home, I like to watch light stuff or like high fantasy, Avatar,
Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. That really engulfs me into another world.
Yeah.
But now I wanted to watch our world and people in it suffering. I don't know why. But it's crazy that if I'm watching something light, fun, happy, it actually does help contribute towards a better vibe score in the morning. Because it helps me sleep better. I'm not as angsty. I'm not as stressed out. My heart's not going crazy. If I'm watching something where I'm on the edge of my seat that night and I'm scared or I'm terrified or I'm just like, what is happening?
You're just in a state of like high anxiety.
If you're just like high stress, oftentimes I have gone to sleep. My sleep quality is lesser because I'm sometimes dreaming about topics or things based off of the movie I saw before going to bed. And then I wake up. So my sleep is not as good. And then I wake up and I'm like, ugh.
Chain reaction.
Yeah, chain reaction.
Vibe score's lower.
Vibe score's lower. Stress is higher. And literally just because I watched a movie that kept me like, that wasn't good vibes. It's crazy.
Well, think about this. Bringing in, I watched Terrifier 2 because we want to go see Terrifier 3.
Yeah, I watched 1 and 2 this weekend.
So Terrifier 2, Eula did not watch it with me because she's very squeamish. But the day after I watched Terrifier 2, which is arguably one of the most gory, it's not that scary, but it's very gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
She cut herself and was bleeding all over the place. Did I bring that into my reality?
No, I don't think so.
No, but there's a correlation.
Hey,
it would be funny with vibe score in the morning. You know how Whoop has the journal?
Yeah.
Be like, what did you watch last night?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because taking in information that is not health related, but correlating it, right?
Yeah,
that's what we want to do.
Because not everything, it's not always what you're eating or what you're doing, let's say necessarily that contributes towards your vibe score. Like it could be, what are you watching that contributes to your vibe score, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you inputting? Who are you hanging out with? If you're spending the night, let's say you invite me out and there's like, I know 2 people out of the 12 that are going to be there. One, I'm not showing up because it's not my vibe.
First of all, I've never hung out with 12 people.
No, I know, but let's say, right? There's always a lot of instances where people are like invited to a place where they know one person out of like a bunch that are there.
Yeah.
That's not my vibe. I don't really enjoy being in that environment. I know you do more than I do.
I don't know.
You like to meet new people and talk and stuff like that. I like to
I do it all the time. You're the networking guy. I don't do that ever. If it was up to me, I'd live in my kitchen on my laptop.
If any of my friends or newer friends, since I moved to Phoenix and stuff, watch this, they always ask to hang out, but it's like after 7:00. Don't ever ask me to hang out. I'm the networker from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go out at night. Like at night, I want to hang out with my dog. I want to go for walks, maybe go grab dinner.
Go see a movie?
Go see a movie. But I go for dinner at 5 o'clock. I'm home by 7. I'm in bed by 9, 10. That's just what I want to do. Like I have but like a lot of my other friends, they're only going out for dinner at 8 o'clock. I'm done eating at 6.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not that one is bad and one's not. It's just, I don't know.
When they're on Pear, they'll see what that does. But it all depends on your schedule. Do you sleep later? Do you wake up later?
Yeah.
All that stuff. But yeah, I'm in my brother and I's relationship. I could be satisfied creating things in my office and never seeing the light of day.
Yeah, you can stay in your office for like days straight.
But all the big trips or any time that I was ever out of my comfort zone, it was always you who are like, okay, we're going to London. Oh, we're going to watch Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing all these things. And I always say yes. Like I'm always down.
Yeah.
But I'll never
do it.
I'll never instigate that on myself. That's why it's so great to be with Eula, because she like plans all these events. We went to Greek Fest on Sunday where you knew people.
Yeah.
She booked the Saturday night event to see the Gin Blossoms, a great 90s band.
Yeah. And also like you're like, we're literally building a business from the ground up. So that's all we're doing pretty much every day. So we're like depleted at night and stuff. So you don't really want to deal with it. So having her being able to like plan all those fun things for her, because it's almost like Monday to Friday, she doesn't even get you.
Exactly.
Like you're barely there.
I'm barely
you're building,
there,
right?
Exactly.
Like I know you do your Tuesday pizza thing. So she looks forward to that.
Yeah. And taco.
Like I don't know. I was watching an interview or a reel or a TikTok or something of some CEO of some big company. I don't remember what it was, but everyone knows him. And he was saying, he's like, even when I was building this thing, no matter what I did, I was so busy 24/7. He's like, Tuesday nights, didn't matter. 5 o'clock, I was out of the office, no phone, no email, no nothing. And I was just hanging out with my wife or my kids, whoever I had to be with. And he's like, even though it was just once a week and it's not a lot, and it's way less than what most men will give to their women. He's like, she understood the assignment. And I also understood that, okay, I want to be present and I want to have that. And he's like, if I didn't do that, my company probably would not have been as successful. If I just neglected my wife the whole time and built my thing, there probably would have been resentment. But because I
made that
literally the minimal effort to hang out with her an extra 5 hours a week, solidified our relationship. It made it better. It made it stronger. And it showed that there are compromises, even if sometimes you don't want to.
Totally. And yeah, Eula, shout out Eula. She's really understanding at this point in my life where I'm building with you from scratch.
Yeah.
It takes everything. There's no like turning off at 5 p.m. That's why I'd like to have those funny candies, because like that was the only way to turn myself off.
Yeah.
Because it's like the paycheck ain't going to come if I don't create this machine that is going to make it come.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, we're building something exciting. We're putting our heart and soul into it. We're raising money now. As soon as we raise money, we're raising more money.
Yeah.
And it's just a phase of life where we're building our future. We're building our future.
Exactly.
And if I was with someone who didn't get that,
oh no, man,
then I would have to battle with an extra stressor.
As if there's not enough already. Yeah.
Totally. So I do take the time to end my day at a certain time.
Yeah, you do. Like sometimes, even me, like if I want to text you something, sometimes at like 7 or 8 o'clock, I won't do it. I'll be like, let them, I don't want to bust their balls. Or I'll text you, I won't call you.
Yeah, we watch Murdoch Mysteries at night.
You do whatever.
Shout out Murdoch Mysteries.
Yeah.
Love that show.
But we were talking about the movies. What did you want to talk about?
You want to talk about Megalopolis?
Yeah, so we're big movie nerds. Like we look at the data, we look at how many people are seeing it, we look at the
budget
versus the marketing cost versus the ticket sales. So we deep dive. We're not going to deep dive here, but we'll just do a quick
shout out Dan Murrell.
Yeah, Dan Murrell. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, so Megalopolis. That was, go for it. Quick explanation.
It's Francis Ford Coppola, the Godfather,
one of the elite
Apocalypse Now
filmmakers of our time.
Yeah, of the 80s and 90s. He couldn't get his dream movie financed, so he sold one of his vineyards or all of them. I'm not sure exactly, but essentially he put $120 million of his own money to make his dream movie,
which is unheard of in Hollywood, pretty much.
Yeah, and so far to date, it's made $12 million
in like 3-4 weeks.
3-4 weeks. with $120 million budget. So that's a tough pill to swallow. But I absolutely loved the movie. I really loved it. I thought it was, Eula enjoyed it too. It was
it was high art and high commentary on society today. And I think a lot of those concepts are going to go right by a lot of people's heads. And that's why it didn't do well. And that's why people thought it was weird. I liked the movie. I thought it could have been done better, but I know you loved it way more than I did.
I loved because there was a lot of room for interpretation.
Yes.
It was chaotic. It was, some scenes went on forever. A lot of things were not fully explained, but I loved the ability to go in and interpret the vision and see what he was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah, it could have been tighter. It could have been formatted maybe a little better, but I thought that the straight pipe, vision directly from the director, Francis Ford Coppola, was beautiful. I thought it was so much fun. I thought it was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame that nobody saw it.
Yeah, and that's another thing that they say. A lot of people are like, oh, we're like fed up of watching movies about Spider-Man and superhero movies and this and that and sequels, and we want original content. But it's like not every time, but most of the time in the last 10, 15 years, we're getting these beautiful, unique
original
stories that were crafted in some person's mind. They don't sell, they don't do well, nobody goes to see them, nobody knows they exist. And the rare time you hear about those movies is when they are able to cut through everything. And even though no one saw them, at least the award people saw them. So they're getting
some word of mouth,
the Oscars and some of the Golden Globes, and then people will go see it.
Yes.
But everyone wants original movies, but nobody goes to see them. Nobody goes to the movie theaters. Everyone streams, or everyone fake, like, what do they hack stream it? Like, they use those sketchy websites. So,
they pirate it. But that's okay. Game of Thrones actually got huge because it was being pirated so much, but the word of mouth from it actually contributed to HBO downloads or sales or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's true. And like, streaming wasn't as HBO wasn't a streaming show. Back then when Game of Thrones came out, it was just, you watch it on Sundays or you find it on the internet. And then you had to like wait for the Blu-ray, like it wasn't online.
Yeah. But then go to Terrifier, which Terrifier blew Joker out of the water this weekend. So another story is Joker 2 is an epic bomb fail at the box office.
Yeah, huge.
It cost $200 million. It's made maybe half that or a little more, but last weekend, US only or domestic, it made $7 million. And Terrifier 3, that had a $2 million budget, brought in over $18 million. And I can't comment on Joker 2 because I didn't see it. So I'm not going to just say what everybody else is saying. I know it was beautifully shot and beautifully acted, but a lot of people weren't vibing with the story. It kind of like undid what Joker 1 was. But Terrifier 2 or Terrifier 3, we're going to see it. But the Terrifier movies are cheap, but they have so much fun and pizzazz and excitement. And it's proof that people are not less necessarily looking for the most beautiful thing. They're looking to feel.
Yeah.
And the Terrifier movies make me feel, whether it's squeamish or, it's hilariously gross.
Yeah, like, these movies are not good necessarily, but they're a good time.
They're like roller coasters.
And they make you like, I've been watching gore and disgusting things since I'm born. And in the Terrifier 2, at least, even 1, the creative, disturbing kills that they do make me go like, even like, take my eyes off the TV. And that's something I've never done. So it's kind of a cult classic type thing. And the Joker 2, I didn't go see it. And I go see even the worst of movies. But a year or two ago, when they announced they were doing the sequel and they announced it was going to be a musical, most people did not know it was a musical. We knew that it was a musical because we watch movie podcasts about what's coming.
Yeah.
So I knew it. So already right off the bat, I wasn't into it. I don't care to really see like Lady Gaga in movies. She's not bad. She's not great, but like the movie.
She's not a draw to you.
No, to me, she's the opposite of a draw. I don't want to go see a movie if she's in it. But she did a great job in that one movie there.
Yeah, the singing one
with the song. That was that was an amazing movie. Bradley Cooper was awesome. Yeah. Everyone, that was really good. But in Joker, I don't know.
And then the bad reviews came out cascading, and
so
it didn't push us to go see it.
Musical, Lady Gaga in there, slow, boring, bad reviews. It was like, okay, you know what? I will watch it probably in a week when it's on streaming.
Yeah, it's going to be streaming soon.
But anyway, we like movies, so that was just a little side
And
quest.
all that to say is I think the takeaway is vibe over budget.
Yeah.
I think that's the move. I think
that's with anything.
Megalopolis doesn't really fall into that. And not to say Joker does not have a vibe, but I think, especially us, we sometimes get carried away with production value and like the podcast and all that stuff and worrying about things looking perfect. You were talking about one of your friends' podcasts that was in a setup that didn't look too great. But if you can deliver the feels to the people in some way, it doesn't matter if you have the best production value ever.
No, they're watching you first and foremost.
Yeah. And
the
human
setup is secondary.
Yeah. The most important thing, I believe, is the consistent output of your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can just plug and play and be authentic on a consistent basis, that's what all my favorite artists have always done. That's what my favorite entrepreneurs have always done. So we'll segue also into Tesla and Elon Musk, and I know we're going to wrap up soon. But Tom DeLonge from Blink, always relevant, always posting funny memes, always doing something that's simple. There's no crazy production value. No Oasis. Liam Gallagher has been posting on Twitter. That's his way of communicating. And he's just posting hype shit that's hilarious constantly, forever. And he's always he's always in the consciousness.
Yeah. I will say though, the two guys you just brought up are extremely popular, influential guys who have spent the last 30 years building their fan base. Had they started building their fan base, posting this type of stuff they're posting, they would not have gotten to where they are.
No, I agree. But our favorite YouTubers and our favorite people, all they've been doing has been super consistent.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Like that's why I love YouTube more than any other social
media. The Angry Joes. We love watching the Angry Joes. Their setup is laughable.
Yeah, but they've been doing it for 15 years or whatever. And
they're amazing. And they bring the vibe every single time. Red background, Jeremy Johns.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Johns, awesome. He's like, he has the same setup since, 2009.
Yeah.
It's more HD, but it's just showing up consistently that matters more.
Yeah, people love Johns.
If you have to create, even Stuckman, if you have to create a crazy production every time you do it, how often can you do it?
Well, it's funny. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube and I watch a lot of movie reviewers on YouTube, and like 90% of them have the same exact setup and they think they're like super, super unique. Probably we think we're super unique here too. Whereas like camera, a bunch of DVDs in the background and a few like action figures, and like a poster, like it's all the same. And they all
Funko Pops,
the Funko Pops, they all got a blue or a purple light, sometimes red. But anyway, it's funny. We're going to eventually build our own podcast setup. But yeah.
We'll eventually have our own, but until then, we come to this great place. We set up. We have the 4K cameras going.
Yeah,
and I believe that this podcast is definitely a level up from last one. Where it's way more relaxed.
Yeah,
way more relaxed. We're a little jokier.
I told you what my thing is. Like my brother, this guy Mich, whatever you want to call him.
Micho, Major Vibes.
I think he must have called me in the last 2 weeks like 400 times about the podcast. Podcast clips, what type of this, what type of camera, 3 camera, 2 camera, this camera. I told him one thing. I said, Mick, I don't care. I want to show up. I want to sit down and I want to talk. I don't want to do anything else around the podcast. I'll look at the aesthetics, but like, I don't want to set up and wires and do anything. So if you can make my life easy by just telling me where to go and what time, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk for 10 hours if you want me to. But the whole setup around it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I really don't like to do
it. Well, we have a great editor now who's taking care of this stuff. We got a great studio we're working at right now. And all you got to do is I make the clips, I cut the clips, and you just have to add the subtitles.
Yeah.
And
that took me that's 1 second in Premiere, which is great.
Yeah, but it's not a big deal, right?
No, it's fine.
And so in our clips that you'll see of this, we'll have gauges. I don't know if we're going to be here.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to test it out. So we'll see. We'll see what works. Things will keep changing. You're going to see many different things, and
you'll see the iterations, the evolution.
It's like whatever we're going to do in a month from now is going to probably look different and feel different than this. So,
all right. So where should we wrap this up?
Nothing. It's just tell our friends here to like keep coming once a week when we have stuff to show them and talk about. And I think maybe soon. I think next week we'll do another pod, obviously. But I think the week after, maybe we'll have a guest to be able to talk to someone else.
Yeah,
and get a feel for other people, because there's only so much you and I could talk about. Well, we could talk about
constant updates.
Yeah, there's constant everything, but it's nice to have a rogue element in there.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, so I don't.
So yeah, think about who that rogue element can be.
Mm-hmm.
We'll bring mom. It'll break the internet.
Yeah, bring a little mama.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, maybe does anyone want to join us on this podcast? Maybe someone who has like 150 billion
subscribers,
followers and subscribers, so that maybe like 7 out of those 50 billion can join Pear.
Yeah,
and help us.
Yeah, who's like a super famous person that would be great.
I'd like to get Usain Bolt.
Okay,
that's a guy I'd like to get on.
We saw him in was it in Beijing?
Beijing. We saw him like
2008.
That was when he became popular. When he won like the first time. We were there in China.
Shout out Dad.
Yeah, shout out
the great beyond.
Shout out Dad bringing us to China when I was like 13. No,
18. Man, you weren't 13.
18. I was 18.
I became a man on that trip.
You did become a man. I was not a man on that trip. Anyway, that's all we got for you today. We're going to see you next week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining, brother. This has been nice. Our second weekly podcast.
Hell yeah. Second weekly pod. Thanks very much. Pear is coming to a app store near you.
Yeah, you guys are going to get email updates. Follow us on wait.
Pear.vibe Instagram?
No, now we have to do this because we haven't done this before. We have an Instagram now, so it's pear.vibe. We have a YouTube.
Yeah, it should be pear.vibe, but it's currently the Pear Show.
It's currently the Pear Show. So anyway, we'll link everything. Eventually, we're going to make all of the titles be exactly the same, but you know where to find us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having us, and we'll see you next week on the pod.
Rock over London.
Rock on Chicago.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Later.